technical problem on our Wi-Fi signal. So we continue. I'm going to request the Secretariat for the attendance for the determination of the Secretariat.
I will now proceed with the roll of attendance. The back members. Engineer Danilo A. Berman.
Present.
The back regular members. Ma'am Grace B. Sanchez. Present. Engineer Christopher M. Balasha.
Present.
And Engineer Harley Rex L. Lopez.
Present.
The back provisional members. Engineer Herbert M. Agudelo.
Present.
Engineer Lian Ray A. Ina.
Present.
And Engineer Noel P. Amador Jr.
Present.
The back secretary, yours truly, Jose Villajal. The back secretarial members, Engineer Cindy Lema C. Valdez. Present. Sir Belmar G. Querido.
Present.
Ma'am Brgy R. Infante.
Present.
Sir Paul R. Domagas. Ma'am Vivian Zenaida I. Tuner. And Sir Mario Roy M. Paco. And may we acknowledge the attendance of our official observer with the Commission on Audit, Sir Auditor Adelaide Joel P. Oraca, State Auditor for the Auditing Leader, and with him, Sir Auditor Jervis Colin Abulayan, State Auditor 1, Audit Team Member. Good morning. And the representative from our technical group, Engineer Joshua Nathaniel S. Rubio.
Present.
And Engineer Richard Neil A. Serrano.
Present.
And therefore, Mr. Chair, majority of the members of our opposition today are present at our technical conference. Therefore, Mr. Chair, we have authority.
Thank you, Engineer President Bella. We have a procurement. Since we have a forum, the factor now is that the procurement activity, particularly for the credit confidence for two civil work projects, is now officially in order. Allow me to read the agenda for the credit conference. Number 1, basic contract data. This will be discussed to us by the technical personnel who prepare the plans and specification. Number 2, question, comments from leaders and advice of bank and other representatives of the procurement. If there is a question or query from the leaders. Number 3, agenda, requirements of bidding documents. We have a audio recorded for this particular agenda. We're going to play in our video screen. Number 4, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposal. Again, this will be presented to us through audio recorded. Proposed amendments. There is a number 6, criteria and procedure for the preliminary examination of the bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post qualification and award. Again, we have a audio recorded for this particular agenda. Number 7, agenda. Other matters, announcement to be discussed if there is any. And the last agenda is number 8, the summary of proceedings, including bid bulletins and addenda to be issued if there is any. Before we proceed to the agenda pattern, may I request the Secretariat to please show in our video screen or play the audio recorded for particularly on section 22 of the implementing rules and regulation of the RA 9124 and the latest GPTD issuances. Secretariat.
Section 22, pre-bid conference. Section 22.1, for contracts to be bid with an ABC of 1 million pesos or more, the bank shall convene at least one pre-bid conference to clarify and or explain any of the requirements, terms, conditions, and specifications stipulated in the bidding documents. For contracts to be bid with an ABC of less than 1 million pesos, pre-bid conferences may be conducted at the discretion of the bank. subject to the approval of the BAC and pre-bid conference. May also be conducted upon written request of any prospective bidder. Section 22.2, the pre-bid conference shall be held at least 12 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids, but not earlier than 7 calendar days from the PhilJEB's posting. Section 22.3, the pre-bid conference shall discuss, clarify, and explain, among other things, eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid, including questions and clarifications raised by the prospective bidders before and during the pre-bid conference. Section 22.4, the minutes of the pre-bid conference shall be recorded and prepared not later than 5 calendar days after the pre-bid conference, and shall be made available to prospective bidders not later than 5 days upon written request. Decisions of the BAC amending any provision of the bidding documents shall be issued in writing through a supplemental or bid bulletin at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Section 22.5 supplemental / bid bulletin, Section 22.5.1 request for clarifications on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the BAC of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. Section 22.5.2, for purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents, supplemental or bid bulletins may be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Any modification to the bidding documents shall be identified as an amendment. Section 22.5.3, any supplemental / bid bulletin issued by the BAC shall also be posted in the PhilJEB's, the website of the procuring entity concerned, if available, and at any conspicuous place within the premises of the procuring entity. It shall be the responsibility of all those who have properly secured the bidding documents to inquire and secure supplemental or bid bulletins that may be issued by the BAC. However, bidders who have submitted bids before the issuance of the supplemental or bid bulletin must be informed and allowed to modify or withdraw their bids in accordance with Section 26 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
And that is all, Mr. Chair, for Section 22,
Thank you, Secretariat. We go now to the agenda pattern, which is the basic contract data. For contract ID number 2025 DJ0038, this will be discussed to us by Engineer Joshua Rubio. Joshua?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For contract ID 25DJ0038, the name of the contract is 001, ensures safe and reliable national road system, network development program, road widening, secondary roads, Nueva Vizcaya, Benguet Road, ACO 246 to 336, to kilometer 248, Kayapa, Nueva Vizcaya. The location of the contract, Kayapa, Nueva Vizcaya. Approved budget for the contract, 64 million, 455,245 pesos. The scope of works is construction or widening of 3.348 kilometers by 3.05 feet by 0.58 meters grade tube, and 3.08 kilometers by 1.5 meter width by 0.50 meter width shoulder. Provision of 25 millimeter 99 diameter RCBC 67.86 cubic meter rounded block, 3,352.85 cubic meters for block in snow protection structure. Extension of single barrier 3 by 3 by 3.5 at right side. Single barrier 3 by 3 by 2.3 at left side. Between wall and 8 1 slab at both sides. Double brick wall with an area of 1,034.59 square meters and provision of road safety devices. The contract duration of the project is 288 calendar days. Cost of bidding document 50,000 pesos. Source of fund, GAA fiscal year 2025. Date of bidding, February 18, 2025. The total length of the project is 1,674 linear meters. And this is the beginning and the end of the project. For the geotag pictures at the beginning of the project and the end of the proposed project. And this is the typical roadway section showing super elevated. And typical roadway section, normal ground, showing stone masonry and hatch facing. And the typical roadway section, showing the extension of the existing reinforced concrete box road. And lastly, on the typical roadway section, showing the proposed double road. For standard traffic management signs, we will use the road and bridge work site require signage. For the advanced warning signs, road work ahead, road machinery ahead, workmen ahead, road work on side road, and road work. And for the regulatory signs, speed restriction and speed restriction. And for the details of stop or slow handheld signs, stop or go flags, temporary block bollards, and as per DEO number 158 series of 2015, amendment to DPWH standard specification for item 605 road sign, side panels shall be manufactured from aluminum sheeting is that conforms the requirements of the STN 209 or 6061 pieces aluminum. Side panels shall be in retroreflective sheeting and conform to the requirements of the ASTM 49 pieces. That's all Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Joshua Budjo, for the presentation. Secretariat, do we have any comments, queries from our prospective bidders?
None, Mr. Chair.
There is none. So we go to contract ID number 24 DJ 0110. To be discussed to us by Engineer Nate Sareno. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Contract ID 24BJ0110. Convergence and Special Support Program, Rehabilitation of Disaster-Related Infrastructure and Other Facilities, Rehabilitation, Reconstruction of Tubo River Revetment Number 3, Barangay Alloy, Kasibu, Nueva Vizcaya. Location of the contract, Barangay Alloy, Kasibu, Nueva Vizcaya. Approved budget for the contract is 38,600,000 pesos. Scope of works, construction of 252.71 linear meter rubber concrete revetment structure with steel sheet piles proving protection. Contract duration, 193 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 25,000 pesos. Source of fund, GAA FY 2024. Date of bidding, February 18, 2025. The project profile showing the total length of the project of 452.71 million. This is the main location map showing the location at Barangay Alloy, Kasibu, Nueva Vizcaya. This is the map showing the proposed alignment of the proposed project. This is the geotag photos from the start and end of the proposed project. Certifical section for rubber concrete. We have a total of 6 meters in height, including the 1 meter minimum depth foundation. We have a base weight of 3.3 meters and a top weight of 0.45 meters. On the back of the structure, we have a 5 meter embankment. And the schedule of the concrete and sheet piles. At the left side, we have 3 sections. The first section has a total length of 105.5 meters. Section 2, 14.21 meters, and section 3, 133 meters. The depth of the sheet pile to be driven is 6 meters, with the pile cap of 0.5 by 0.5 meters. The schedule of the channelization. The width of the channelization is 8 meters. We also have 3 sections as per bow, same as the sections of the rubber concrete. For the detail of the pile cap, we have a base of 0.5 meters and a height of 0.5 meters with 6 12 mm diameter RSP with 10 mm diameter steel space at 0.30 meters on center. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Meg Serrano, for the presentation for contract ID number 24 BJ0110. Secretariat, may I ask again if there is a comment, query, or question regarding contract ID number 24 BJ110 from our prospective bidders? There is none. So we go now to agenda number 3, which are the requirements of bidding documents for contract ID number 25 BJ0038 and 24 BJ0110.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the requirements for the legal document, you may refer to the leadership clause for item 3 clause 5.2. For this purpose, contracts similar to the project refer to contracts which have the same major categories of work, which shall be the major category of work for contract 25 BJ0038, RCB, roads, construction dash, PCCP. And for contract 25 BJ0110, FCSBS, flood control, construction, slope protection using structural measures. Example, Revetment building structures requirement. And please note, the above SLCC must be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the constructor's performance evaluation system or SEMAS. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent documents shall be submitted. The qualifier, similar works with at least 50% of the item of work of the project. I believe clause 7.1 subcontract is not allowed. Clause 10.3 for item B clause 10.4, the key personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience. 7. For key personnel, project manager, foreman, and safety officer, general experience and relevant experience must meet 3 years of minimum experience. And for project engineer, must be at least integration accredited provisional PE. And for materials engineer, must be at least DPWH accredited materials engineer 1. And the key personnel must meet the following years work experience. 1. The experience means total years of civil works experience of any major construction and engineering consultancy services. And 2. Include the tax identification number or PIN of the key personnel. And compliance to DEO 98 series of 2016 revised guidelines on the accreditation of constructors, consultants, materials engineer. 1. Include And for item plus 10.5, the minimum major requirements, you may refer to the big data sheet in the bidding documents or contrasting by BJ 0038 and by 24 BJ 0110. And for the laboratory equipment, please refer to DEO 11 series of 2017 for the minimum materials testing. And that is all Mr. for the requirements of the bidding documents.
Thank you, Engineer Santigata. The head of the procurement unit and also the head of the secretariat. We go now to agenda number 4, which is the documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals. This will be presented to us by the secretariat through audio recorded. Secretariat.
Requirements for technical and financial documents, procurement for civil works. 1. Technical component envelope. Class A documents. Legal documents. A. Valid field jobs registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages, in accordance with section 8.5.2 of the IR. Technical documents. B. Statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. And C. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. And D. Special PCAP license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. And E. Original copy of bid security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued copy of notarized bid securing declaration. And F. Project requirements, which shall include the following: A. Organizational chart for the contract to be bid. B. List of contractors' key personnel, example, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foreman to be assigned to the contract to be bid, with their complete qualification and experience data. C. List of contractors' major equipment units, which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor/vendor for the duration of the project, as the case may be. And G. Original duly signed omnibus sworn statement or OSS, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and to act to represent the bidder. Financial documents. H. The prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity or NFCC. Class B documents. I. If applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. 2. Financial component envelope. J. Original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Other documentary requirements under RA number 9184. K. Original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities. And L. Duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. And M. Cash flow by quarter.
And that is all, Mr. Chair, for the requirements of this bill.
Okay, thank you, Secretariat. We go now to agenda number 5, which is the proposed amendments. So we do not have any proposed amendment for this particular project. For this one, that there are no comments, questions, or query for the city works projects discussed. So we will now to agenda number 6, which is the criteria and procedure for the preliminary examination of the bids, detailed evaluation of bids, cost quantification, and award. For this particular agenda, again, we have an audio recorded to be presented in our video screen. Secretariat, please.
Detailed bid evaluation for the procurement of infrastructure projects. The purpose of bid evaluation is to determine the lowest calculated bid using the following steps. 1. The bank shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria, considering the following. A. Completeness of the bid. Unless the instructions to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and, thus, automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided, but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government. And B. Arithmetical corrections. Correct computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. 2. The bank shall evaluate all bids on an equal footing to ensure fair and competitive bid comparison. For this purpose, all bidders shall be required to include the cost of all taxes, such as the non-limited value-added tax or VAT, income tax, local taxes, and other fiscal levies and duties which shall be itemized in the bid form and reflected in the detailed estimates. Such bids, including said taxes, shall be the basis for bid evaluation and comparison. 3. In case of discrepancies between A. Bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. B. Total price of the item and unit price of the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. C. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. D. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. 4. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications to identify the lowest calculated bid. Total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications, which exceed the ABC shall be disqualified.
Post-qualification. Objective and process of post-qualification. 1. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. 2. Within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the bank that the bidder has the lowest calculated bid, the bidder shall submit to the bank its latest income and business tax returns and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that a finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations or IRR of Republic Act No. 9184. 3. The post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the field job certificate of registration and membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184, and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid using non-discretionary criteria, as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall consider, but shall not be limited to, the following: A. Legal requirements. To verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist, as provided in Section 25.3 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184. For this purpose, the GPPB shall maintain a consolidated file of all blacklisted suppliers, contractors, and consultants. B. Technical requirements. To determine compliance of the infrastructure projects offered with the requirements specified in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, I. Verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project for the procurement of infrastructure projects. 2. Verification of availability and commitment, and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned/leased/under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding, as well as checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts, if any of these ongoing contracts shows a negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. B. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 calendar days and to complete them within 30 calendar days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. C. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance within 30 calendar days and complete them within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Or D. Substandard quality of work as per contract plans and specifications, or unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. If the bank verifies any of contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects. 3. Ascertainment of the authenticity of the bid security and its correctness as to type, amount, form, and wording, and validity period, as required in the bidding documents. C. Financial requirements. To verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price and proposal of the bidder and, whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents, or the bidders and FCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. The determination of the lowest calculated and responsive bid, or LCRB, is guided by sections 34.4 to 34.8 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184. The bank will recommend to the award of contract to the bidder with the LCRB in accordance with section 57 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 9184, which outlines the procedures for the notice and execution of award.
And that is all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretary, for presenting agenda number 6. We go now to agenda number 7, which is other matters, announcement. Secretariat, do we have other matters? Announcement to be discussed?
Yes, Mr. Chair, for the announcement of reminders, we have a government meeting on the 15th of February 2025 for civil works from ID 35 BG 044 and until 35 BG 049. Although, for For contracts which have PGA 044 to contracts which have PGA 048, these are projects considered as conditional implementations, and we will post notice of cancellation for these projects. For the reason that it is, we have instruction, we should not take a procurement activity without the release of fund or SARO or SCP. So therefore, we only have a one contract to give on February 11, 2025. And our next procurement activity scheduled on February 12, 2025, by the conference at 9 a.m. The schedule of activities on February 25, 2025, 9 a.m. during the conference room for two goods and services with contract ID numbers 25 GBJ01 and 25 GBJ02. These are goods under unit is the maintenance sector. And our next procurement activity on February 18, 2025, opening of bids here in conference room for the contract ID numbers 25BG0038 and contract ID number 24BG01. And that's all this for the announcement.
Thank you, Secretariat, for the announcement. So, since we have already discussed agenda number 1 up to 7, the last agenda is the summary of proceedings, including the meeting. So, as I said, we have already discussed item 1 to 7. No bid bulletin to be issued for reason that there are no queries or questions, comments from the technical presentation presented by the engineers on this notice. So, from the board members, do you have any further announcement? There is none. May I hear a motion for adjournment?
So, Jay, we move to the adjournment of this procurement activity.
Any second motion? It has been moved and seconded that the previous conference this morning is now officially adjourned. Thank you everyone and magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Please na kayo.